Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Onyx Path Twitch, where tonight we have gathered for Season 2, Episode 8 of The World Below, Delve and Dig. My associates and I are here to further tell the tale of this scrappy band of survivors coming out of Gelphim's Rest. But before we dive into all of that, a few things I want to make sure that I make you aware of. If you've not yet done so, please head over to BackerKit and support the Essence Player's Guide. That's right, Exalted Essence Player's Guide is currently crowdfunding on BackerKit. We are now entering the last week of crowdfunding. The project is funded and several stretch goals have been unlocked, so it's a great time to get yourself involved. If you're at all a fan of Exalted, the Essence Player's Guide has information on all 10 Exalt types, including details on how to play them, alternate Exalt milestones, and a ton of new charms. So get yourself involved. Go back that if you have not yet done so. Also want to make sure that you're aware of this last week. We released Lost City of the Oracle's Amulet, which is a adventure for that came from the Cyclops' cave. That was created with Matthew Dawkins and some school kids from the Scorpions and Spiders classes at Green Trees Primary School. It's a really cool adventure. It's pay what you want, but by all means, I would encourage you to drop some change at it. Throw us. We like the kind that jingles, and we love the kind that folds. So throw us some of that. Really cool story.
Coming to America recently?
Yes, exactly. And and then also we have recently, this last Wednesday, we released, or yesterday, I guess. Time is a thing that flies. Yesterday we released the print on demand of Trinity Continuum with Great Power. This is an Aberrant expansion. It's the first Aberrant book to come out in a while, about like 2 years, I think. And this one covers various organizations, Project Utopia, counters loss management, which was introduced to the world of Aberrant on this very channel right when we kicked off. It was the first Aberrant game I ran, used counters loss management, and now they're officially canon in the setting. Isn't that wild? Good stuff. Also, stuff on Team Tonight, the Justiceros, all sorts of stuff. So definitely check out With Great Power. That is available in POD and PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG. Pick it up and then leave ratings and reviews and say nice things about it, and it would be much, much appreciated. And of course, The World Below, also available in POD and PDF. This is my beautiful POD copy of The World Below. I love it dearly. It's nice, it's sweet, it's thick as a brick, and it is just grand. So now that I have paid the bills, let's go ahead and meet the cast. Crow, if you would, please tell us who you are, what you do, who you are playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, anything you would care to promote.
That's so crazy.
Hello, I'm Crow. I play Savo. Our one of our elves, or one of our more eldritch or assassin, crafty trickster elves. Don't really have anything to promote except for coming soon. Some new Scion stuff. We're just doing a little bit of hiatus. I know you haven't seen us in a few Mondays, but we're just seeing where things go because our group became gods, and there's ways we want to explore that. So that's why we're on hiatus. And yeah, there's a voice come through. Oh, okay, that's not for me. Anyways,
yeah, I think we have some vocal leak, Haley. So if you wouldn't mind muting, I would appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
Oh, right. Don't have anything to promote as of right now. I know there's a couple of shows in development. We to be determined on those. And yeah, that's it for announcements on my end. Oh, playlist for some of the show. So the world below, I believe there should be a playlist up. And there also should be a playlist for the tower if you have not caught up with that as well. So that's it. And also there will be some TikTok clips, hopefully, that I'm working on, if I can get them finished and ready by the time of me speaking about this in the doobly doo. So there's that. That's Sweet. It. That's all I got for that.
Much appreciated. We'll keep an eye out. What's your TikTok handle?
To be determined. I'm trying to recreate a new TikTok specifically to promote this stuff, not to get anything confused. So that's what I'm trying to work on.
Well, you got to let us know once you know, and once you know, we'll let you know, and then everybody will know. That's how it's going to work.
Right.
Because there's nothing confusing about that at all. Speaking of nothing confusing, Cal, your pertinence, please.
That's right. I'm nothing if not confusing.
He said
That was-
confused.
That was a
Brilliant.
quintuple
I
negative,
said
I believe.
confusingly, as a very unconfusingly explained.
One more negative and you will divide by 0, opening a portal into absolute Hades.
My true form.
If you sextuple back, then this is going to become True Detective season 1.
That's right.
So
You can find me on Untrue Detective season -1.
question mark,
Question mark.
semicolon.
But the upside down ones. Yeah. But other than here, oh geez, let me back up. The joke didn't snap fit right. My name is Cal. You see him pronouns, and I play Bunga. He's a big hub in the world below, and he's bug oriented and friend oriented. And as for the IRL stuff, TikTok and the blue sky, it's usually NeoCal. I'm on a little let's play. No, I'm on a pretty. I think they're more professional than their followers would suggest. Channel called Dork Tales.
Oh,
Little channel called Dork Tales, and yeah, we play. Right now, I'm in Vampire the Masquerade, the Transylvania Chronicles, every other Wednesday there. And on their Patreon and YouTube, I'm running Descent into Avernus for 5th edition. Outside of that, I'm still doing the podcast thing. So yeah, if anywhere where podcasts are, look up Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. And we just reviewed Wildcats, the TV show.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not really about cats, like I thought it was going to be.
you had my
basically
interest, sir. Now you have my attention.
Yeah, we're doing a the comic what is it? IDW? No, not IDW. Image Comics. Thank you.
Originally, it's now
We're
owned by
doing
DC.
we're doing Image Comic run of the TV shows that they released. So we did the Max, Wildcats. We're doing Spawn next.
Nice.
So you know, a kid-friendly cartoon.
Was
cartoons,
Wildcats though? I thought Wildcats actually was like a Saturday morning style cartoon.
Honestly,
the Max and Spawn were not.
The stuff,
It's
the
still
stuff
wild,
that
but it is for kids.
The kids at my kids' school talk about stuff that is so mature and so inappropriate that when I think of Spawn, I go, no, I think 4th graders might actually be familiar with this. Like, this is not beyond that. God, I'm old.
Oh, it's not beyond them, but they don't know Spawn. That's an old.
All I have to say about Spawn is
Spawn's old.
Boys scream,
We're old.
girls scream, so I made him scream and scream and scream. And that's the beginning and the end of my
that's
comments.
why I feel like ice cream.
There's no clean segue into this. Haley, give us your burden. I don't know how to get from Billy Kincaid to you in a clean fashion. So by all means, please just give us your pertinence and save me.
Hey everyone, my name's Haley, also known as Babe_Blade666 on the internet. I don't really have much to promote, and I'm playing Stropharia. She's the other elf of the trio. And she's a priestess, mushroom kind of girl. And yeah, just excited to be back and playing.
We're excited to have you here. It's been been a little while. It's good to have you back. And last but never least, Kevin, your pertinence, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin R. Zarnicki, going by he, him, playing Kale Zool, the last of the trilogy of elves. In my case, the monotone necromancer one, but no skeletons yet. Just ghostly guidance and fascination with graveyards and being an ambassador between living and the dead. As for real life stuff, I'm happy to report that I survived RSV and a follow-up infection. That was a month of my life. So yes, it's nice to be back. Sweet Jeebus, I've missed you all so much.
Glad to have you back and glad you survived. That is not a fun illness.
It apparently got pretty close to being infinitely more serious. So I'm glad my wife insisted I go to the doctor instead of trying to tough it out. Beyond that, personal stuff. I've got so many projects that aren't far enough along that I can say anything other than working for something for Renegade, working for something for Catalyst, working for something else for Catalyst, working on bringing a couple of games from video games into TTRPGs and board games, which with these tariffs means that they may be dead in the crib.
I'll give it time; it'll change in a week.
Who knows, man? I'm at this point. Royal Rogues Academy is proceeding towards opening, and we are going to attempt a small publishing press and a small casting agency because in this time of woe, far too many creatives are having to lose their job. A friend of mine at Nickelodeon is like, yeah, just got laid off. She's one of the most talented people I know. So I just want
That
to
means
create.
there's only 5 people in Nickelodeon left.
If you've seen the audience, if you've seen the offices, that's not a joke, everybody. That's how it is. So yeah, I'm just trying to create jobs right now. Aside from that, one project I will pimp for a friend though. I have just received, this is probably going to be backwards. I have just received my hardcover copy of Oh Fuck Dinosaurs by Dave Bruno. It is damn camera is blurring it. It is absolutely awesome. It is wonderful. And he and I may have plans to do something more with it. But he wrote a novel, and I am endlessly proud of him. So yes, go check out Oh Fuck Dinosaurs by Dave Bruno. I will I will.
That's a good tabletop RPG name.
Right?
Like when you held it up, I was like, what? Wait a second. I've never heard of this.
That looks like a little RPG like that, but it's too thick.
I thought you're holding up an RPG box. Yeah.
It's too hard copy and thick to be a zine game. Like this book is about the same dimensions as Blades in the Dark, but no, this is a legit novel. I hate that it's blurred. Dave's an animator.
It's censoring dinosaurs.
For real. But yeah, Dave's an animator out in California, though he may have just gone to Tokyo. I don't know for how long. Wonderful guy. And he's never made anything I didn't like. So truly, check it out. It could not possibly be more independent. So hit it up and have some fun. That's it. Yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah. Other than that, we're just arguing. Me and Cal are arguing in the chat about how Wendigo or Wendigo or Wendigo.
Oh, it's pronounced Wendigo.
I'm gonna punch you.
Well, keep your violence on the table for the moment.
Always.
And speaking of the table, let's get to it. When last we met, y'all had been in the city of Fortress. You were making some negotiations to ensure that the city of Fortress would have a supply of Lebrant for their weapons, their armor, their various things, while the settlement of Gelphim's Rest was able to benefit from that relationship. During those negotiations, a few things came up. Kelzulia discovered that there was a graveyard that had been built here, a mausoleum, where they were hiring people to watch the bodies, effectively to ensure that the bodies were not taken off with as a means of preserving the dead. Because as you know, in the world below, if you turn your back on a corpse for too long, it suddenly will disappear. So their answer to this, to allow for memorials, has been to have a corpse watcher. While you were investigating that, Bunga has been involved in a bit of a fighting ring. I guess fighting ring's a bit much of a bit of an overstatement. You'd had a couple of gladiatorial bouts, I guess one might say, for the entertainment of the emperor, who also seems to have taken a bit of a liking to Stropharia.
Who wouldn't?
Precisely. Stropharia and the emperor have exchanged some dialogue, had some conversation, talked about the needs and the wants of both settlements. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's fair to say that Stropharia has convinced the emperor to, at least for the time being, send out envoys to the neighboring settlements on the strata, to try to talk them into a willful allegiance rather than being just taken over by
I just want to be clear. Is this the second ruler who's fallen for Stropharia, helping to lead to diplomatic solutions? Okay. All right.
Yeah, what's going to happen is there's going to be...
This
is all but set up for the Trojan War. That's what's
okay.
going to...
Yep. Yep.
The Heleno Troy.
Yeah, but with more mushrooms.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we don't know. There might have been a fair amount of mushrooms involved.
Yeah, she could have been Princess Peach for all
It would make more sense.
It would make more sense.
And then they got in a horse.
I took so many mushrooms
that
that
a horse and city.
The only place that hurts on me is my ankle. Yeah.
They got him in the ankle, and that's the only place you can hurt him. The guys came out of the horse and was standing present. Yeah, it would be insane. I love
Okay,
it.
Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
And amidst all of this, Savo has been wandering the city, sort of taking note of these various interactions, keeping an eye on things. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Savo, you had uncovered kind of were the one who sort of uncovered the possibility that the emperor was looking at violence as a potential means of seizing the strata. Does that sound right? I think you're muted.
That
sir.
and so it's figuring that out, but also figuring out that there was another plot to start trouble during the actual showing off of the trophies, and basically it was last we were doing was debriefing about like, oh yeah, we have two parts of the pieces of this big grand puzzle between myself and Bunga. Oh no, we might have to go get the others.
Right. Yes, because you had discovered a plot. They were gonna. I believe there was a faction that was going to attempt a bombing.
Yeah, with
as-
the corpse.
As a way of protesting this this would be allegiance of the strata. That said, you are all able to gather back at the inn where you've initially stayed and where you've been stashing your belongings. It's the first time in some time that you've all actually had the opportunity to be in the same room. And as you're gathering to share information and update things, you do make note that the signs of calm are starting to rise. You're starting to feel the need to hunker down. You're starting to notice some sluggishness in the sunflies. All of the people of Fortress are talking about it, especially. Sorry, I didn't mean to punch the microphone there. Especially folks who are interested in that last run at trying to get a trophy. Um, some of the would-be competitors were definitely scared off by the fact that you walked in with the head of a sapphire dragon, but not all, and not as many as you'd have thought. It seems like many people are galvanized, impressed by this. Um, in fact, a dozen hunting parties have left this very morning. But as you are gathered, feel free to interact amongst yourselves. Share your info, figure out your plan.
Treasure hunters walking past, just quoting Robin Hood Men Tights. That's not so hard. We could do that. And they were never heard from again.
Right.
Later dragons. Ah, the feast bringers. Welcome.
First thing of note, Salvo, new outfit, not wearing the scary mask, looking like an elf.
Ooh.
How looking like an elf? Elf.
Like a regular old, just what you would think a darker skinned elf, not drow, more brown skin elf. Pointed ears, more shaved head, but has a beard, scruffy beard. Although both the eyes look more closer to like the color of the dragon that we slayed. So, elf, just a little stranger, and also speaking a lot more clearer than usual. Great, you're up. So we have a situation on our hands. Long story.
Whispered necromantic words. Are you wearing someone's face? Like, what's. You got a whole mask thing. I don't know if that's a people mask. I don't.
Oh no, this is me.
Don't believe him.
What happened to
Bunga.
you? You're covered in bruises and scratches and.
I like
Someone made me bleed my own blood.
it.
The audacity.
Yeah, that was kind of my fault. Sorry. Pressured you into it. I didn't know he was that strong. That was like the closest you came to death, Bunga.
It's true.
I feel
I have a
must been
rival
stupid.
now.
Who's that?
Oh, some Darv by the name of Ken? Kenny, Kendrick,
Keldar.
Kevin, Keldar, that's it. There's a voice in my head who sometimes reminds me of things. You know how it is.
More than you know.
Hmm.
Well, so I apologize for my meditations. I've missed so much. Have we presented the Lebrant to the rulers here? A deal's been struck?
Well, yes, but
He might invade the next town over, and if that's the case, I don't want the Lebrant to be funding that.
I see.
Rofari doesn't want to be an arms dealer.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, I heard they're sending an envoy for peace, and I want to know the outcome before we make a commitment to him, the Emperor.
I
Very
think we
wise.
have a little bit more of a conundrum on our hands. I don't think that's going to go quietly. In fact, I think there's factions who plan on blowing up the event, um, kicking off a few, well, kicking off a few rebellion, insurrections, or a possible war. Who knows? Normally, I would think this is not a problem, but seeing as one of us is a diplomat to every settlement we go to, I figured, oh no, we might be tied into it. So I decided to give you a warning, Kalzul, just in case. Looks dead eye at Stroferia after saying this.
I see. Is it
That's the kind
possible?
of thing I'm trying to avoid.
Is it possible? Is it possible that this place is called Fortress again?
Yes, Fortress is
Yeah.
the city you're in.
Is it-
Just as a quick refresher, because I know it's been a bit. You are in the city of Fortress. Fortress is under the control of Emperor Rook, a Darv. It is arranged in the clay strata, and the nearby city that they were talking about taking over first, the place of origin from these terrorists who wished to bomb the hunt are from Lent, Lhent. Lent is that nearby settlement.
As opposed to a period of deprivation.
Right, that's what the H is for, to separate it. So
The
that's
silent H.
It's
Great.
pronounced Lent.
exactly.
Is it populated with Wendigos?
No, don't
So-
be absurd.
Wendigos are a myth, Master Elf. Um, is it possible that negotiations with Fortress will only be possible from a position of strength? Perhaps we should be strengthening an alliance of other settlements so that Fortress recognizes that they would be more politically advantageous to be a part of that strength rather than taking it on and risking falling.
I think we showed our strength.
I meant
Thanks to
more.
Wanda, but
Sell our weapons to the insurgents. Keep the uprising going for as long as possible. Weapons sell for 3 times as much during war period.
I'm afraid
Audience.
that's how you would know that.
Audience, you remember when Cal said that friendship was one of his powers?
So I've been going caravans for a long time, and I hear the merchants whisper, and I hear them trying to. I get paid the same no matter. Well, actually, I do tend to get paid more when I was guarding during wartime. But that's all behind me. I'm just speaking on behalf of my experiences.
I'm not sure that financing a rebellion is necessarily the best idea if we're hoping to fold Fortress's strength into our alliance.
Well, Fortress seems a lot older and a lot bigger than what we got going on. So, how do we?
for now,
What
I'd
do you-
like to see
what
what
do you
he
think?
does.
Well, he said that he temporarily trust Strofaria with using diplomacy instead. So what if we can? What's the word? Teeth, tithe. But he wanted some sort of tithe. Is that the word? Some sort of thing to guarantee that the cities and towns and settlements nearby
Tribute? M says?
showed their allegiance to Fortress.
M says, so basically tribute is what he's asking for. Taxes.
Well, yes.
In exchange for what?
For
Protection,
him not
right?
to uh, protection.
So the suggestion is that Fortress is moving into what could only be called a protection racket.
Well, the forces do defend whenever there are infestations and leaks of monsters here and there, and they feel they've been doing this of their own. What's Stropharia, like their own free will? That it's time to pay the piper.
He describes Lent as a place where they take him for granted, I guess. Like, they're not as careful as he'd like them to be. And he doesn't feel like they're, yeah, like Emperor Trump.
Well,
It's taken advantage of, you know.
I think also part of it is he feels a lot of them are a lot more unorganized in the protection he can provide. So, I mean, you've seen this place. They are a little bit more organized, militant, and a little bit more controlling. So if they think that they're the last line of defense and they think it's fair game and the other settlements aren't as developed in that sort of sense as they are, clearly with and he kind of thumbs out to like the soldiers and other people going out to hunts and stuff. I don't think he's just gonna move aside his plans if even if they decide to nicely. In fact, I think he's waiting for a few people to move a little bit more irrationally so he can make his move. My guess. Although it's a little scary that he's doing that, seeing as I've noticed a few holes in his structure.
Oh, that's right.
Kind of raises her hand and says, just to play, surface advocate. Our main interest here is profit, right? I mean, is it wise for us to stick our noses in the middle of whatever politics are going on? This isn't even our strata.
I thought our main goal was protection and allies.
Well,
No?
sure, yeah, but I'm not.
I don't want to be allied with someone that picks senseless wars.
Right. So
Just
maybe.
who's going to be next?
So
The
maybe
vulnerable.
you're not wrong. So maybe we don't ally with them and we just take our bat and our ball and go home, and then we, find another ally next season.
We
Well,
could, or we could see how he handles this.
Well, I think feel compelled to minimize the amount of suffering down if we can. And if we choose to just ignore everything when we could have found a peaceful resolution, doesn't that make us complicit in the violence?
Well, I'm trying to find a peaceful solution. I'm the one that suggested that. So do
Precisely.
we go to Lent and be part of that envoy? What do you guys think?
I think there's no. I think we have to.
So,
I think that long term. Oh, please.
So are you suggesting we go to Lent now, and we call him there?
Well, wait. Which one of you is the map guy? Looking around. I feel it's tingly on the back of my neck that the calm is coming around, but how much of a trek is it to this Lent place?
You could make I would say, culture or esoterica roll. Modified by any theses or syntheses you may have regarding maps.
I think Kyle Zool has something about maps, right?
Yeah, I've got my cradle map. You said Esoterica works?
Yep.
Good.
I would probably pair that with intellect or resolve.
Perfection. Do I get a bonus for my cradle map, or
Yeah. Is there a rating for it?
I mean, we made it up.
Oh, okay. Then I would just give it +2 enhancement.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're trying to figure out how far it is from here to Lent.
Yeah, with the time calculations.
You probably make it in 8 to 10 days. You probably shave if you portal jumped and didn't run into any difficulty in set portal jumping. You could probably shave it down to 5.
Last time we did that, we ended up in a Sapphire Dragon Horde, but at least that ended well.
It's true.
Okay, so calculating that, does that give us enough time to hit Lent and still get back to Gelphim's Rest?
No, you're going to need to leave for Gelphim's Rest in the next 3 days at the absolute max, the way you figure it. Any longer than that, you will be risking getting caught out in the wild.
Mm.
Or at least having
we-
to portal jump a lot.
Or we stay in Fortress?
We had discussed somebody staying behind, but with this new information, I'm not sure if that's a
Right.
wise move.
Well, I could still stay. I'd be a little bit more stealthier. I plan on moving with our stuff anyway, so that way we could do it like my people do. We kind of integrate ourselves into places, keep our eyes and ears into things, and not be so, well, the opposite of bunga.
The opposite of Bunga.
Seems like a huge risk. I don't doubt your
Fort and
skills. It's just you never know what could go wrong right now.
You stand out in a good way.
What? So are you suggesting we all stay here for home?
Personally, I'd prefer to return to Gelphim's Rest.
We could split up. Myself, Bunga, and Kelzul could make our way back to Gelfim's Rest while Savo and Straferia stay here.
Okay.
Would there be any?
I feel better about that than just leaving one person.
If you feel you'll be
Hmm.
safe, if you've attracted the unsavory attention of the Emperor, I'm not sure that.
He's not as unsavory as you'd think.
Oh, he wasn't unsavory.
Not a
His
wretch.
intentions are.
He's not dumb. I think he's just well aware of the long term. He's well aware of power structures and how violent the world can be.
He seems political, says as she starts like pinching the bridge of her nose.
Mm.
Well,
Oh,
given the nature of the settlement, he's not a complete warmonger. I mean, his people have taken suggestions that I've pointed out really a lot more well than someone you would think of his stature. So
Mhm.
we're not dealing with a complete power freak, and he's not a lovelorn, sad one. So those are
If
two.
any two of us would stay, Savo and Drofaria would be the best.
I defer to the wisdom of the majority.
I'd be inclined to agree.
Out of character, I gotta say, this has got me wondering, what would political marriages look like if there was also polyamory? Like, could you have one queen married to a whole bunch of different kings, and that would unite everybody?
Theoretically.
Yeah. No, it's out of character though.
In the world below, when it comes to fertile offspring and having like a family and stuff, is it like the BoJack Horseman rules where the kids are just one? Like, let's say there's a hobgob and an elf, right? Are the kids, is it just 50-50 whether they're a
Yeah,
hob or an elf?
Shadowrun rules, no half trolls.
You,
Yeah, so
there's no half
effectively
anything. You're just, oh, there's a gray I'm like, like you have like a 1/16th chance of your kid being like a troll because
there's really not much that is determined by your species in the world below in terms of like system impact. So
system impact, yeah.
So you would be able to determine kind of what you wanted to manifest as, right? So you could say, I guess, so to put it simply, could a human parent have a Makiru child?
Yeah.
Theoretically, there's nothing to stop it. Form and biological elements in the world below are so mutable.
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean?
Chaos with a K
Yeah.
has a way. Life finds a way.
Right. And just because, like, if you're a child that's, for example, born to a very advanced scarab, who has very bug-like features they've taken, that doesn't mean the child is going to possess those features.
Right, because their aspect could be the like the crystal or the fungal,
right.
Or...
They could go adhere to a completely different dialectic. So, so yeah, that would be theoretically, you could mix and match whatever would make the most sense for the story.
That
and for
explains
the
why it was all those statues, and it was like a Darv, a Darv, a Darv, a Darv, an elf, a Darv, a Darv.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, in Portlandia, you could be anything here: a farmer, or a wife, or a wife, or a wife, or a wife.
And if you had, for example, you might have like a human who gives birth to a Darv because 3 generations back there was a Darv in the family. I wouldn't necessarily say no. That's not possible in the world below because everything is very mutable.
Gotcha.
But ultimately, though, you would choose one that would represent your character.
Rad.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
But also to swing things back around to answer the other question about polyamory and inherit the idea of political marriages comes almost entirely from the idea of feudalism, as far as I know, and that only applies to a fraction of the governments in the world below. Right. So the benefit of political marriage would be much smaller, except for all the places where
making
it wouldn't
it
be.
up as they go along.
Except for all the places where it wouldn't be. There are democracies. There are cities that basically live under anarchy. There are absolute monarchies. There are,
Are there any technocracies?
One may argue that Telver's Hearth is.
Well, that makes sense.
But yeah.
Are there any oligarchies?
One could also argue that Telver's Hearth is an oligarchy.
Skullcrag is almost a necrarchy.
Yeah.
A necroarchy?
Necroarchy? Ooh, we got to put that in something, Travis. That's too good a word to waste.
Indeed. So yeah,
You can't rule if you're still alive, breather.
so there are a number
Flesh
of
breather.
there are a number of different options.
They call all the living smooth skins. Wait, that's from
Oh,
Fallout.
that's been done. And they've all got the same voice for some reason. All
Hey
right.
man, if you've been smoking for 200 years,
It sure feels like it.
So have we reached a verdict?
I defer to the wisdom of the group.
so Stropharia. That's her official class.
Their official title is Wisdom of the
The
Group.
wisdom.
Kind of the leader in a way. I know we're all very like democratic, but you know, when I think of the person standing in the front, I tend to think of Stropharia.
If it's social, it's Stropharia, and if it's combat, it's Bunga.
Yeah.
If it's espionage and stealth, it's Savo, and if it's weird shit, it's me.
That's right.
Wow, we really are a classic D&D group, aren't we?
Kind of, sort of. So yeah,
I think that works. I'll stay behind with Stavo. If you guys want to go home. And hopefully nothing bad happens.
We can also take the Lebrant with us to make sure it isn't seized by the powers that be.
I think
Yeah.
If
We just had the samples, right?
Yeah, you brought it.
Or did we have?
You brought a few samples. You did. I thought you gave one sword and shield to the king already.
Yeah, we might have given him a shield.
But the rest
Something.
you could absolutely take back with you.
Let's hope that doesn't provoke a political discussion of Gelphim's rest needs more freedom. Eagle sound.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to. We're not in the strata that they're interested in, at least at the moment. M says, I don't think we should let that trophy go to waste. So why don't we allow Savo or Stropharia, whoever is the most advantageous, to claim the credit for it and the win?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess I could. Stavo's like, he's not there, right? There, but he's not there. Is that the plan?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
So you're planning to hang by the shadows and let Stropharia take the limelight?
Yeah. I feel like that'd be a lot simpler and it'd be easier if I have to dive in just in case something goes wrong.
Sure. All right. Well,
Nothing says savvy political operator like assassin bodyguard in the shadows.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dig it.
indeed.
Very, very Jongleur from Ravenloft. Deep cut.
Well, in that case, then let's tackle a few different things. I guess first off, is there anything that you would like to do? Any of you would like to take care of before you take place, or before we move into the phase of travel and or hunkering down? Any other things that we want to take care of in Fortress before we get into those processes?
We brought a cart of tradables, right?
Yes.
Have we already taken care of offloading this and loading up that?
Well, that's the thing, right? As far as the Lebrant you've carried, so far you've only offloaded. Was it just the shield, or was it a sword and a shield that you were giving to Emperor Rook?
I think it was
Thought
just
it was two
shield.
pieces.
Oh, was it? Maybe.
Unless
Just
we
to
like
show them
collected
that
them
like we
again.
know what we're doing, kind of thing.
It's up. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to settle on just a shield, that's fine. If you want to settle on a second piece, that's fine too. It's really up to you. I don't know that it's been established firmly.
I just give him the shield to represent like protect us and be a protector.
Okay.
That's where my mind was at.
All right.
Plus, we could always lie and say, "Oh, it doesn't make good weapons, just armor."
Yeah.
Well, I think that's that boat sailed. Yeah. Is there any other events that you wish to address or things that you want to tackle before hitting the road?
Are there any trade goods that are like really great here that we should bring home? Anything that
The chief export of Fortress is violence.
Right.
So
huh?
Let's purchase some violence to bring back with us.
I don't know. I feel like we bring violence with us as a servants
Hmm.
industry, as in any RPG except Good Society. Shout out for that little indie game, huh?
Right.
I mean, do you think Ethlana would profit by any of the stuff that we could bring back from here?
Probably not, to be honest.
Oh,
can
didn't
I?
we get something in exchange? We got like a trade deal, kind of.
well, they were willing. They said they were willing to send you soldiers and smiths in exchange for LeBron.
Oh yeah.
How about an on-demand promise rather than an occupation?
We left that nebulous because Stropharia didn't want to necessarily say or agree to anything. If it was kind of like, haha, just kidding, I'm using all your weapons in the front line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's understandable.
So we kind of waited until the gang was together to necessarily guarantee anything. Doesn't mean we can't leave everything with those two, right? And they could privately sell it.
That would be an option. Yeah.
Right.
Another option would
Instead
be
of taking it all the way back and being like, oh shoot, like our journey was slower because we didn't get what we wanted. We could just be all like, well, I mean, private like property still exists in Fortress. It's not you keep what you kill.
sure.
And
Now I gotta go watch
we
Riddick
could
again.
leave it.
Thanks, Cal.
You're welcome. Yeah. Chronicles of Riddick, underrated.
It is.
A great world universe building, I say.
Yeah. Here's hoping Merc City happens.
Take me down to the mercenary city.
Let's save it for the podcast, Cal.
We'll save it for the podcast. So if we leave like everything with Savo and Stropharia, then there's not like a cart and goods to like pull back. Essentially just us moving ourselves back to potentially then bring more back out rather than we came out here with a bunch of equipment, then we go back and then we come back a third time. It's kind of like,
yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, and
we could sell it to people as long as it's not funding like the war.
Well, and that's the other thing. Hello, Raiders. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining us. We are playing The World Below.
Currently arms dealers discussing if we want to privately sell weapons or to the state or to mercenaries. I say mercenaries.
We're trying to be chaotic good, but we're faced with a lawful neutral thing, a few metaphorical strata above our usual pay grade.
Well, and the other thing
well said.
Thank you.
M will suggest as well that in the event that you that we leave the stuff with them, that also gives them some wiggle room in case they run into difficulties throughout the course of Calm. They'll be able to use those as bartering tools.
Oh, right.
To be able to,
Yeah, that too. Okay.
Yes, leaving it here makes enough sense. I just hope they don't reverse engineer it or decide that we would make a fantastic forward outpost protectorate a few strata away, you know?
Well, we can only hope.
Don't worry. I have a plan for that.
M says, "Yeah, if things go sideways, Savo, can you just assassinate whoever you need to assassinate to make sure that that doesn't happen?"
He looks around and it's just like making sure that like the doors are closed, that there's no one listening.
Just toss it out. Right in the
Comes back.
tavern. Yeah!
If things need to be discreet and cleaned up, I have ways of hunting some things down.
Assassination is such a dirty word. I prefer to think of it as political adjustment.
Oh, also, my people don't like saying that out loud. They like calling it the hunt rather than just saying outright assassination, murder.
No, I mean it's really just
See, the best two people to leave here are the person against wanting to assassinate every little problem, and the person that, if he needs to, he can just deal with the situation. They're the problem solvers.
See, all my political acumen is based on people who've already died, and your political acumen is like secret savant stuff. It's like, I don't know
Where he
about that,
specialize.
but Marx says that the redistribution of wealth to the bourgeoisie.
What did you just say? Yeah, let's get him.
I think that's a Kantian dialectic, I do.
What we could do is we could move the means of production to the proletariat. And
Which, speaking of,
why doesn't the lower class, the more numerous of of the classes, simply not just eat the rich?
well,
What's up,
while
Crow?
we're discussing class disparities on the settlement, I have something I have to go prepare and maybe clean up. So,
And what would that be?
I love how ominous everything you say is.
I've learned to
Wow.
just nod.
Council, if you want to come with me, I would always like a companion on my tour of the settlement before you leave.
As you will.
I will see the rest of you later. And it's weird for Savo putting on an accent, just playing on a different role that he normally doesn't do, but is being extra tight with a few things. He plans on going where the event is going to be held for the actual
For the hunt. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
not necessarily the hunt, but the showing of the
right, the trophy, the judgment. Yeah.
yeah, the judgment.
Okay.
That's still on this layer of the settlement, correct?
Yeah, that will be in the. Welcome back, Cal. That will be in the
Hooray.
city itself.
Great.
There's the city square. It's not far from where they're actually going to be judging the trophies. Is basically right out in the square in front of Emperor Rook's citadel.
Great, because that is exactly where he's headed.
When is that? Like now?
It'll effectively be the first day of calm.
Oh, okay. So pretty soon.
Exactly.
He's looking at Calzul. Question: how good is your spiritual friends?
At what?
Influencing the physical, not by much, just a slight nudge.
From time to time, they can affect things in a physical manner. For the most part, I find it most reliable for gathering information.
Great.
Guidance.
That's kind of guidance. Great. Love the way you put that. That's what I need, guidance and information. Just a snug tug on the arm, just in case someone decides to be a little bit explosive.
Then let's see what we can do for you, my friend. All right, so I'll go with Savo, and for the sake of providing him with some lasting assistance, maybe I can like lend him some ghostly aid for this rest, like make a good impression between him and the dead of Fortress.
Sure. So you're effectively working to like kind of connect them, build a bond between Savo and some of the local dead.
Sure, I could make a little fetish or something he can carry with him to, provide a material link. I'm borrowing lore from a bunch of different games, for the ambiguity of it. Let's see. I've got always a helping hand tends to be the dead for my character rather than living people. Patron at a value of 2. My one man's trash. Let's see. I can use ghost eyes to speak with them to establish that connection initially. Trove revealed, that's another thing that ghosts tend to help with. These are intelligent undead, I would assume, so corpse whisperer doesn't count, and bone reader is more forensic than anything. So yeah, I could probably offer that kind of stuff. As far as Travis is comfortable translating that.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and give me a persuasion presence or empathy presence, whatever you feel is more appropriate.
Persuasion presence or empathy presence? I guess I'll go with persuasion presence. Clear these digital dice. Heathen that I am. Letting Google handle my dice. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent. So that would be sufficient to overcome the average ghost's integrity and effectively shift their attitude toward Savo up by 1. So this isn't necessarily going to make them the best of friends or carve an impenetrable bond between the pair. But what it does do is gives Savo an opportunity to make some rolls to try to influence these ghosts should the need arise. And Savo, you can mark down that you'll have an enhancement of 1 on any such attempts.
Well, for narrative purposes, I take him to one of the resting places, sit, feet crossed beneath me, knees forward, and begin a very low throat glottal bone singing performance, almost like throat singing in a way. That Sabo,
you called it bone singing.
I wish I'd come up with that.
You disconnect with your throat bones and the vibrations of the throat.
This is my voice acting career mixing with my RPG career right here. But it's got a definite like thing going on. It's got Sodakar chant type sound. I think that's a good way to put it. Epic sound. And you can feel when you hear it first, but then you almost feel your skeleton or like vibrating inside of you, not unpleasantly, but as though it gives you a sense of parts of you that you're not always aware of feel very, very present starting at the skin and separating down to the bones. You feel the strata of your own body until it sinks into the bones, and you realize you can almost feel your spirit itself as a component, ever present, but never one that you consider compared to fleshly concerns. And it might occur to you for a second that this is how Kael'Zul feels literally all the time. And it would explain a thing or two. As you feel that vibration, Savo, you can feel like the room has far more people in it than you realized. You don't necessarily feel hunted. You're not the prey, but you are watched far more than you ever realized before. And for a creature of stealth who controls perception as a primary thing, I imagine you find that unsettling.
Oh no, it's a complete nightmare. This is Salvo's thing. This more people in the room? Oh no. But he's just like, this is necessary. This is necessary. I hate it, but this is necessary. Hi, ma'am. Oh, you don't exist?
Feeds on life. Feeds. Sorry, now you got Tool in my head.
Yeah. But yeah, opposite feeling than what Salvo normally feels. So it's a little bit terrifying, and he's dealt with monsters. So this is no bueno. But he is, while feeling that, he is mapping, or at least attempting to map out the square so he can spot out the tiny holes that he can figuratively sink in. So like any place where someone could be like, oh yeah, this is a spot where I can drill a hole and blow this up, or I can put a squad here to hit this place. That's kind of how he's mapping the area out. He's just planning to like, how do I make sure I can get myself and Stropharia out of here as quickly as possible and maybe assassinate the competition?
I would say that like Kael'Zul doesn't seem to stop chanting, or maybe the song simply continues without his voice at this point. But he looks up at you and almost with the glimmer of a rare smile, he says, and now you'll have advice on exactly what it is you seek. And it's as though a chorus of stories are hitting you at once, telling you what like stories about the things you're looking at. Whispers of, once when I was sneaking, I found that there was a way, if I squeezed myself, I could go right through here. Oh, but I couldn't bring the loot. If I'd only left it behind. If I'd only left it behind. Things like that. A bodyguard, a burglar, a smuggler, a street urchin, a warrior, the ways that they died and the ways that they lived, and the realization that knowing how people died is a real good way to know how to kill some more.
It's funny you're saying that because you're thinking in like the most deepest of moments, but to Salvo, all he's thinking is just like, grandma's voice has really gotten deeper in years. Wait, I don't have a grandma. Who are my parents? And for the first time, he's just having like an existential crisis, and is still mapping out whatever plans and stuff and like details. But it's also like, how do I exist in this moment of space? I don't know. I just have to kill something to get us out of here.
Add to the chorus if you must.
Are you going to risk yourself to make improvements to your map? You get an opportunity to draw a map that, if successful, is a basic representation of the area. But you can take risks to yourself in order to potentially improve your map. This would allow you to, you may choose to take a dangerous path to the destination, hurt yourself, in other words, end the map making with the bleeding or exhausted status effect. Become separated from the rest of your group. Well, these are potential
Right.
side effects,
I'll
consequences.
risk it.
All right. In that case, let's go ahead and have you give me an artistry.
Okay.
We're going to. Let's see. It's going to be a base difficulty of 2.
Okay.
I'm going to add a minor complication at a value of 2 because you're trying to navigate through an urban area where it's dense and people are watching, and there's all kinds of difficulty. But I will give you an enhancement of 1 thanks to the assistance of your ghostly allies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kelzul, you're not actually participating in the map making, correct? You're making the introduction and then.
I think I'm more assisting with giving him an enhancement bonus from a mechanical standpoint.
Right. I'm saying, are you trying to participate in the actual map making itself?
More like I'm
Halloween. This is Halloween.
I'm brokering contact with the entities that are helping with the map making.
All right. So yeah, it'd be artistry. I would go for either dexterity or cunning, probably, but I'm happy to hear other things. And then your difficulty 2, minor complication, enhancement 1.
With an enhancement. So remind me, 10s or 2s, correct?
10's counts 2 hits, yeah.
Okay, so 2, 3, 4, and with the enhancement be 5.
Glorious. So that allows you to resolve the complication, overcome the difficulty, and you have gained an additional stunt. You can choose to use that stunt because you risked yourself. Nothing bad happens, of course, but also you may choose to note any environmental hazards, note any area specific improvements. We would have to discuss kind of what those might be, or note shortcuts through the path. I'm assuming you're going to want shortcuts through the path based on kind of the purpose that you were aiming for, but I'm happy
Most
to hear
definitely.
other potential things instead.
No, you hit right on the money, shortcut through the path. Because definitely this is going to be in and out. Either way, even if it doesn't pop off, I know Chekhov's gun, if it's being shown, it's most likely going to happen. But even if it doesn't happen, we still need an exit just in case your majesty decides, I'm feeling festive. We're going to start running wild. And I'm just going to have to go, oh no, I have to get our mushroom out of here.
Sure. I would say, are you sharing the map itself with Straferia, or are you going to rely on your own awareness and knowledge of that map and not trouble her with the details?
Okay. I think I know how to do it. I am going to give her, like, how you see what, another job that I can't fully disclose. Give her like the safety plan, like the personal safety plan that we give certain people. Like, hey, this is in case of emergency. This is where you go. This is what happens with you. That's part of it. But on the back end, Salvo has the real emergency plans. Like, I have the plans just in case things kick off, and I really have to make sure that like blood gets slain. I might have to like dirty my hands just a little bit, and I don't want her to think too hard about it.
So you're kind of giving her plan A, and while you're formulating plans B through double X.
Oh yeah, plan. We're not even at plan double X. We're at plan Omega. Just like, okay, this is. We just have to set the thing on fire and just like, and nothing was lost today.
Over here planning like he's Cyclops from X-Men. All right. That
I
works.
hope it doesn't come to that. But
Fair.
Hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Any other preparatory activity that so we kind of have an eye on what Kelzul and Savo are doing. What are Stropharia and Bunga doing during this time? Sort of the last 48 hours before you hit the road headed home.
What are we doing?
I mean, drinking at the tavern and telling stories is a perfectly valid thing for Bunga to be doing. Should that be?
That's where he is. That's where he's been.
Any preparatory stuff that Stropharia would be doing?
not really. I'll go to the bar, I guess.
Is there anything that any of you would task M with? Because otherwise, M would also be at the bar with Bunga.
What conceivable preparations can be implemented into opening a very stable portal?
Oh, you wanted to work on portal setup?
I'd be more comfortable with it. A messed up portal at the beginning of a journey, you can get back on the path. A messed up portal at the end of a journey, you're in the wilderness during calm.
That's fair.
So there's an escape plan A and an escape plan B. See, we all have different specialties.
All right.
See, if the portal randomly just throws us 200 feet into a cavern outside a fortress, it's probably better that happens not during calm.
Well, let's go ahead and assume that the creation of the portal will be something that is actually part of the expedition phase, and that is a phase we will get to after we take 5 minutes for our biological and technological needs. While we are stepping away, if you would be so kind, if you've not yet done so, please head over to BackerKit, where we have the Exalted Essence Player's Guide live currently on BackerKit. You can go over there, you can pick that up, get yourself involved. It is funded and then some. And if you're a fan of Exalted, it's got information on playing all of the different Exalt types, including optional Exalt milestones and a whole ton of charms specifically crafted for Exalted Essence. It's a really, really solid supplement, and I highly recommend picking it up. Also, if you're liking what you're seeing here and you want to check out the world below, that is available in POD and PDF over at DriveThruRPG. I will throw that link in the chat. And then I would implore you, if you're watching this live, please stick around. If you are watching this in VOD, just hit fast forward so you see our pretty faces again. We'll be back momentarily. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Onyx Path Twitch. I hope you have all taken care of your biological and technological needs as we just have ourselves. Before the break, we had sort of wrapped up the last of our business in Fortress prior to the portion of the team that is departing. You had requested that M start cooking up a portal. So she will do so. This is accessible only via wild chaos, so she is going to need a tether. This will be a esoterica composure. So she does have a not small dice pool to work with. Unfortunately, because you are so far skyward, she only gets an enhancement of 1 on this roll. Unless any of you have like a chaos rock or something along those lines you want to loan her to consume for the purposes of this portal.
I'll loan her 1.
You have 1?
Yeah.
All right. So that'll give her an enhancement of 2.
What do chaos rocks taste like?
Funny you should ask.
Whatever mineral the chaos is preserved in. So all a chaos rock is like a regular stone that has some chaos that's calcified within it.
Anybody hear Rockbiter dialogue from Neverending Story?
Yes, exactly that.
With a dash of quartz.
Precisely that.
As you get older, I think Artax becomes less traumatic, and you just think of they look like big, strong hands, don't they?
I don't know about that. Artax is still pretty traumatic. All right.
It is, but like the other one gains horror. It becomes a race.
So she's going for range. It's distant. So it adds difficulty 4. Oh no, it's known though, so it's difficulty 3. And she's going to want that's really about it. Difficulty 3. That's going to be 1, 2, 4 successes. So she got it with 1. So she's able to open a chaos portal that will reach up to 10 kilometers from your location. That chaos portal will shave a few days off of your journey. And I will say that will grant you +1 enhancement on your ultimate roll to navigate home.
Ooh.
So those of you who are headed back to Gelphim's Rest, we're going to need to do that navigation.
What are the dice and who's got the best?
Well,
What are the dash?
the actual exploration pool is going to be based on survival plus stamina normally. My suggestion would be that one of you work on mapping this out so that in the future you'll have theoretically, at least for a few seasons, have a clearer and faster, more reliable way to get back and forth, provided the calm, of course, doesn't wreck the path.
10-4, boss.
And that the other one focus on the actual expedition. M is able to add enhancement equal to your bond rating with her to both of your actions.
All right.
So which one of you is going to focus on the actual exploration? Which one's going to focus on map making?
I
I can
think-
focus on the map making.
He'll be the I'll be the physical navigator, and he'll be the scribe,
All right.
the cartographer.
I will say, in addition to your bond rating to M for the map, you'll also have a +1 for that
Cradle.
cradle that you've built. +1
Okay.
enhancement.
Killer.
But you will roll after Bunga rolls because that may add bonuses or complications to your roll. In terms of the actual difficulty of your journey, it starts at difficulty 2. The dice pool is survival plus stamina. We are going to look at some of the pressures that might change the environment. Distance is going to be a +2 difficulty. You are going a long way. Your equipment and workforce is going to be another +1 difficulty. You're a small group that's not carrying a whole lot of travel gear with you. You don't have things to like break rock besides Bunga's big self. So that you're looking at difficulty 5. Familiarity would be a -1. This is an area that you have traveled through before, so that brings your difficulty back down to 4. Are you trying to rush?
Do you think we need to?
You have no indication that you need to at this point.
We got a head start. You know.
Yeah.
You're leaving about on time, perhaps a little early before you expect.
Oh,
to
okay.
start.
No need to then.
And we will say another -1 difficulty based on the map that you possess currently. So that brings us back around to a difficulty of 3.
All right. And this is stamina and survival, or?
Correct.
All right. Four. You know what? I'm not going to use that old 35-year-old Vampire the Masquerade dice.
Why wouldn't you? It's got personality.
That one likes to go on cup.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 10 down
wants
on
that.
cup.
That's the way we like to get.
Jeez, guys,
All
come
right.
on.
Come on. Oh, this isn't
Woo.
essence. 7s aren't successes.
7s are not
That is like-
successes.
4 7s in there. But I have a 9 and a 10.
All right, so you got 2 successes on a difficulty of,
A 9 and a 10.
or three hits.
That's 3,
on a
right?
difficulty of 3. Yep, and then you had
Dang.
enhancement, right? Or no, we figured in the map as part of your difficulty switch.
Yeah.
So you have a quiet journey. Nothing really to write home about. Unfortunately, that does not give any bonuses to Kielzul's mapping effort, but it doesn't inflict any penalties. So I would let you go ahead and make an artistry roll at difficulty 2 for your map making effort.
All right. I have a 10, a 10, and an 8.
Excellent. 5 hits, not bad.
And connection with M is 2 plus cradle map.
Awesome. So 7, 8 hits. So we can assume that you have a map that is presently accurate. Barring any sort of strange calm events, it's likely to remain accurate for the next 5 sessions or next 5 seasons.
Nice.
So you may make a note of that
Will do.
as you begin making your way back to Gelphim's Rest. Relying on portals as often as is safe for you, and spending the rest of the time sort of ducking your way around challenges, possible creature infestations. but you do make your way to the city gate prior to calm, with a couple of days to spare.
As we journey, I reflect back on the goodbyes we had with our crew. This is the first time we've really split up for a calm. I
Indeed.
think of Savo surrounded by spirits and looking at him, but looking past him and saying, "Be careful, be guided well." Um, Shaking Strafaria's hand and lingering just a moment too long and saying, "Be careful," before portaling.
Excellent. Now, in the city, you have a few weeks to address whatever concerns you might have whilst the others are traveling home. What would Savo like to do with this time? Is there a activity you would like to focus your energies on whilst you're awaiting calm to set in?
Seeing as he knows that Stropharia has the political side of this, like he's not too worried about that. It's still he's more listening and getting information on the street end. So everything coming in and out, mostly in the shadows, alleyways, being his usual Parisian self. So starting that network up to be like, okay, I got ears and eyes everywhere. I can run in and get the job done.
Okay, so you're sort of like doing a bit of networking, trying to see what allies you might have, things along those lines, right?
Yeah, just a little bit of that. Even if
Sure.
it's not allies, just a little bit of information, and just listening in and out of things makes it a little bit easier for whatever happens. Or at least you can advise Strafera and be like, hey, you might want to go this route, or you might want to duck down for this. This is about to pop off. Things like that.
Sure. How about you grant me I'll give you your option of culture or enigmas.
Hmm.
And I
Okay.
would say that could go off of cunning, intellect, or resolve, whichever you prefer the most.
Ooh, okay.
Before you head out, can I I have a thing.
Yeah.
Have uh, fragment. It's like a little mushroom guy that I can plant on you, and then I can track where you are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You get uh, the Shroomanuculus and pop that sucker on your shoulder and go out investigating. I'm
Sounds
going.
like a slang word. Shroomanuculus, tubular.
Um, what pool have you decided to settle on, Savo, for your
Uh,
investigation?
Enigma's intelligence.
Okay. I am going to give you moderate complication. If you do not resolve this complication, it's a value of 3. If you do not resolve the complication, someone will notice your efforts. You will still get the intel provided you succeed on the roll. But if you don't resolve the complication, someone will be aware that you're sniffing about.
So
Okay.
complications you buy off with successes. Difficulty, you just have to surpass that number, but it doesn't subtract from the successes like a complication would.
No, so you spend hits to overcome difficulty and complication. The difference is if you spend hits to overcome the difficulty but not the complication's effects go into effect. Generally speaking, if you do not succeed the roll, the complication doesn't come into play because you failed. So there's a different
The
consequence.
difficulty is success or failure, but the complications, you can be bought off or not bought off with enough successes.
You can choose to succeed, but with okay, I got you.
So an example might be like if you're picking a lock, right? That lock has a difficulty of 2. If you don't hit that difficulty, you don't pick the lock. But let's say it has difficulty 2, a complication of 3. If you don't resolve the complication, guards notice you, right?
And then you need 2, so you need 5 to buy off the complication and pick the lock.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you buy off the difficulty but don't buy off the complication, that means you get through the door, but somebody notices that you got through the door. Maybe you set off an alarm, and then you might even go further and say because it's complication of 3, every amount that you don't buy off, like that's how many rounds it takes the guards to get to you. So you know what I mean. So like if you buy off 2 of them, then you buy yourself 2 rounds before the guards show up. Makes sense?
Yes, clocks. Very in vogue in RPGs today.
So you can play with it in those different ways, but you can extrapolate that out too. So it's not necessarily time based. Maybe it's the number of guards who show up. You know what I mean? Like you can play with it that way.
Okay. I got 4 successes.
Okay.
I know this is not going to add to the roll, but just in case. If someone's getting close or thinking about getting a little bit too noticeable in my direction, I am going to pop off that killer's aura.
What does that do?
Sounds awesome.
Lesser animals scatter in your wake and wither beneath your predatory gaze. Impose a not minor complication to all pest level targets in short range, attempting hostile actions against you. If any of these targets fail to resolve the complication, they suffer the stun status effect or flee. But I'm mostly just doing it just for just in case some guy is just like, boom. What is this buddy doing outside of the alleyway? Oh God, I am going to go back inside my house. I didn't see him at all.
In case somebody gets froggy while you're investigating. I would point out if you wanted to
oops your throat.
If you wanted to alleviate yourself of the problem of this complication, you can spend momentum on a 1-for-1 basis for enhancement.
Not like we've been using it on anything else.
We haven't used any yet this session, so if you wanted to spend 1, you would be able to buy off the complication and just have a straight normal success. If you wanted to spend, say, 3, which would be the maximum you'd be able to spend at this point, you would have 2 extra stunts that you could spend on extra evidence or questions and answers.
Go up, okay. Then yeah, I'll spend the max that I can because I've been given a green light.
All right. So as you're investigating, what I would say is you have the option of doing, of asking up to 3 questions, or you can bank those for later use if needed as long as you remain in Fortress.
I'm gonna bank those. Those are going to definitely be banked because I know they're going to come in handy as soon as possible, as soon as something gets froggy.
All right. I am going to make a single roll. This single roll is going to reflect whether or not any of the hunters are able to overcome the to bring in something that would rival the Ruby Dragon. So because the Ruby Dragon is a horror template, it's going to require it's going to be a difficulty 4 roll. Excellent. The final day before calm hits, a group of Darvs comes into the city with 3 bodies sort of strung together.
Oh, you were going to say 3 ruby dragon heads.
No. These bodies are skyward mantises. skyward mantises are creatures that the two of you, Savo and Straferi, have only heard of in
Right.
tales. These are strange, mutated, monstrous beasts that have come down from the world above.
Like we fought these.
These are the things that I don't know if you actually got around to fighting any or not. These are the things that carry the mutation of the surface. And these are the things that Fortress has pledged themselves to defend against. Normally, an entire battalion of them will stand against one or two of these things creeping in at once, but this small group of a handful of Darv hunters have managed to bag 3. Quite an impressive feat.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
A little suspicious.
It could be. It could be. If that is something that you would like to investigate over the period of calm, if that's what you'd like to dedicate your time during calm to, you may do so. You do have those banked question and answer slots. But the 3 Darvs, or the handful of Darvs, do win the year's hunt and are given the privileges thereof.
I'm not going to dig in it too much, but when I meet back up with Strafir, I'm going to point it out. Probably somewhere looking up above, have her looking out to the side and just smoking on some sort of pipe. Well, it's normally take a battalion, and apparently 3 Darv are able to just take down 3 of them with no problem. A little suspicious.
Definitely doesn't seem right. But
There's no way that guy just sniped me.
you never know.
Hmm.
The Rust Knights were unkillable.
Fair. But we took them down as we're not the most normal of companions. Although Bunker would say it was the power of friendship, so maybe that's how they were able to fight them off.
Well, they're either extraordinary or they're liars. So we'll find out either way.
Well, hopefully they're not like our other friends who plan on using this to their advantage and having a surprise waiting for us. You didn't memorize the exit plan, correct?
Yeah. I can get myself to safety. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure. Let me see that.
Glorious.
Right. Correct. There is one thing though. One thing I've just been a little cautious of mentioning. How should I put this? We know that the settlements have their disagreements and they really do not want to be ruled. That is fine. They plan on blowing something up, or they were planning on blowing something up before that got meddled with. But my thing is, if you really wanted to take down, well, any king or anyone else, you would mess up that line and have someone be reopposed into that position. But I have not seen or heard anyone suggest that as of yet. It seems odd, especially with the king with no heir.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to figure that one out.
Well, I could ask around while I'm doing my training, as it were, seeing as a lot of those like to talk
Does he
and
know
drink
that
and
there
fight.
was an attempt on his life?
Well, I let his guards know whether or not they actually did something about it or they just roughed it under the rug. Your guess is as good as mine, but the real test would be if they actually fixed. And he points to where he first pointing out the weakness up above and seeing if they actually fixed that or not.
They have repaired that. Yes, that was their as soon as you pointed it out, they started working on repairing it.
Oh.
The other thing is, they did take those suspects into custody and what's the word I'm looking for? Confiscate the explosives. So the guard hasn't been blowing you off. They have been engaging in good faith.
So we can
So
at least
is
trust
there
they have
like
the good
a
interests.
yeah? Is there like a large population that doesn't want him here, and why? Or is it just, you know, a pack of?
The people that were staging the attack were from Lent.
Oh, okay, got it.
I don't know. They'd probably be a little bit more welcoming here, living here, but if there's any outsiders who kind of come in like we have, take your pick on that one.
Well, that's what I was afraid of.
But
I'm stick out like a sore thumb here.
the reason why we're taking the precautions, which is leading me to my last thing. How 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 caring do you feel of the people of this settlement?
How caring do I think they are?
I don't have the language to say it.
Well, you either said caring or Karen, and
How much of a Karen do you want to be to the people of this?
Actually, I think I have the word attached. How attached are you to the people here?
uh, it's a much grimmer word.
Not I barely know anybody here or care for the culture, but you know, why waste lives? And the concept of war is just ugly to me. So it's my moral standing. I just don't want to see it come to that.
I'm not of the warring type myself. I believe in the hunt, whether it's of creatures or folks around. At one point, Kalzul was part of the hunt at one point, but times do change. The other reason why I'm bringing this up because I care mostly about you and getting you out of here. As far as the other people are concerned, if they die, well, they move on, as it were.
I can't I can't sit back and cower as a massacre happens. That happened to me once before. I'm not making that same mistake. Much stronger now.
Truly
So
noted.
if it
But
comes to that, you're gonna have to wait a bit. Sorry. That just brought up a lot.
I think he just smokes a little bit more of the pipe. I will take you out of here alive, kicking and screaming. I hope you understand that.
It'll have to be kicking and screaming.
And he switches back to the regular voice. Well, as long as you know, switches back to the weird elven. Well, as long as you understand that, we have mutual agreement. And he just goes back into the shadows.
Yep. Last time that happened, it was too young to do anything about it. Not this time. Hope you
Um,
understand.
before completely disappearing, you just hear in the shadows. Not every tragedy is your fault or yours to solve.
I suppose you're right, but I'm compelled to.
It's just the wind. He is no longer there.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
That,
Into the
And you
wall.
turn and you're like, I hate it when he does that.
Yeah.
and with that, the settlements are sealed. The calm begins. Gelphim's Rest's last calm aspiration was to complete the holy book, the town ledger, which I believe you did a while ago. So we
Right.
get to choose a new calm aspiration. You've got that going for you. I am translating that to a +1 to all rolls that are related to the holy sorceries. So long as Stropharia or the book are in town. At the moment, neither one of them are. Because it is so this calm it won't necessarily help you, but going forward it will. Next we have a calm event. Who wants the honor of rolling for the calm event?
I have mixed luck.
Give me percentile, please.
Percentile. All right, if you insist. Go creamsicle flavor. 92.
No joke. You have refugees. This is considered a successful calm event. A group exiled from their community comes begging for acceptance and bringing their own traditions and assets along. You may add an additional special trait to your settlement.
Ooh.
So, what would you like those refugees to be? You've been reaching out, putting your word out. So, this could be an expansion, extension of other people who have already shown up. Which, to remind you, the populations that have built so far have been Burra, Apprecians, and survivors from Crystal Cavern. So, if you want to increase one of those, you may do so. You could also then either add an additional specialty, an additional special trait, or add another +1 to your existing specialties pools. So, what sort of refugees would you like to have come in? And everybody can participate in this. It doesn't just have to be the people who are actually in the settlement. Ideally, I mean, it could be, like I said, it could be any of the existing populations of refugees. It could be dead spirits. It could be another group entirely.
What if it's because the current population or traits or whatever are like crystal caverners, Burra immigrants, and
Deprecians.
what if it's I don't know how vague or specific we need to be, but what if it's they bring their own like culture or whatever. What if it's like a whole bunch of nomads or that sort of thing, and they bring or like hunters?
I mean, that would be Burrow, right?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Or Apprecians, for that matter.
Think? Yeah. We've got both of our folk in there. So what about
farmers or something?
I seem to recall the soil is especially prone to either bug harvesting or really fertile because of all the dead bugs, and we just didn't invest in the farming.
Sure, we'll say.
Well, that's right. Or it can be
Grew,
like a special
herbs
trait
or
they bring.
something.
So we'll
what
say.
was that, Haley?
I think we grew like herbs or something.
Yeah, there are some herbs being grown there, but there's definitely room for expanding that. So yeah, we'll say plus 50 farmers, and we'll say that they're a split of Makiru and Anticia.
Ooh.
It's an
What are
anticipated.
Anticia?
Yeah. Reminder of both. Please.
Anticia, Makiru are the rodent folk,
Cool.
and Anticia, I believe, are the snake folk.
Oh, we haven't met one yet. I don't think.
Stag folk.
Say
Like
what? Where?
stags.
The Anticia are?
I'm making sure I heard you right.
No, I said snake,
Snake.
folk.
Snake. I heard stag. Like in a cave?
You like
No.
stag? In a cave?
I'm not
In this
against
part of
it.
the strata, at this
This
time of
economy?
localized entirely within Gelphim's Rest.
Yes.
Can I see them?
No.
Oh.
But could you imagine like antlers that like scrape along the top of the cave and like gather moss and like can like attune to stuff? That'd be kind of cool.
That's an Apprecian with like a kill on their head. That's basically them.
That's just two Apprecians in an outfit trying to lure.
Wearing like one of the like a donkey costume.
Yeah.
Of course.
Look, it's the golden stag of the forest. Some say if you get too close to it, you can hear muttering.
So we'll add.
Muttering from the surface.
So we've added the farmers. We'll add a +1 to farming.
Were they
rules.
outcast because it's snakes and rats that get along instead of trying to eat one another? Like
Hey, these are people.
That's a little bit
I know,
less
I-
likely in the group. And they possibly, maybe, sure, yeah. Let's lean into that. Let's say that this group of farmers are outcasts because in the distant settlement of Fair Verona, one
no.
of the Anticia princes fell in love with a Makiru of a rival house when they were set to death because of violence that broke out between their fair houses. Rather than some contrived fake suicide plot, they just grabbed their friends and left.
Please note they are both consenting adults.
Yeah, exactly.
Very smart.
So yes,
Amazing.
yes.
What about really complex and pointless and misunderstood ways of killing themselves?
Yeah, no, they were just like, we could do that, or here's the thought: we pack our shit and go somewhere else.
I like that.
The really strange, but it's like lower decks where the rodents were in charge and the snakes were the food. It's like, well, we are delicious.
Precisely that.
No, they wouldn't abide by this this marriage. They're two warring houses.
Yes, and so they
Two households, both alike, one might say. And
right, exactly. So they have come to.
They're nothing alike. How dare you?
They've come to stay with you all now, and have brought their propensity for farming. They were agrarian houses. Who knew? It was like a cross between Romeo and Juliet and the Hatfield and McCoys.
and these were the ones who were like, this sucks, and left.
Exactly. They're like, well, we got to go. And they have
Establishing
done so.
the cottage industry of Hatfield McCoy agriculture in Gelphim's Rest.
Precisely. The next phase of our calm is there anything that you would like to do to make developments? So because you had a positive calm event, you may choose a calm development. You may work on these separately or together. This would be something that if Strophiria and Savo wanted to invest effort in, these would take place within Fortress, not within Gelphim's Rest, because you're not there.
How do you invest in rebellion?
Yeah, can they invest in
Well,
rebellion?
one of
Yeah.
them is sabotage. You can
Oh yeah,
effectively
counter investment.
Oh, I forgot that's a
Yeah.
comm
yeah,
project.
that is
Yeah.
absolutely a thing you can do for calm, including destroy resources, in which case you're removing a community's major trade, good, or supply it relies on. There's ruin reputation, where you make a community leader disliked and therefore ineffective. Weaken defenses, where you make a community less safe. Endanger trade routes, where you make a trade route so hazardous, difficult, or unprosperous the settlement abandons it. Drive out specialists, where you get rid of the community's most skilled, valuable members. Or conspire with enemies, where you're passing information along to the settlement's enemies. Those are options.
You could be pretty evil in this game if you wanted to.
You can.
I don't think any of those are wise right now.
Stropharia, now's your time to shine.
Oh god.
Alternatively, you could work on things like change leadership by replacing the community leaders with someone who share your vision or with one of the characters themselves. You could try to, expand the settlement, increase the settlement's territory, or make better use of the space that it has. You could work on creating records or developing industry or agriculture, building trade routes, developing technology. These are all options that you have. Obtaining specialists.
Can we print Shea Stropharia t-shirts in preparation for a cultural rebellion?
That would count as creating a work of art, and yes, you can. So, what calm events we'll start with Sava. What would you like to do with you also do not necessarily need to do a calm event. You could spend your time crafting instead, if you wish.
Okay, so two mind. Actually, no, we're in sync. Solve and I is in sync. We're gonna do some sabotage. We're gonna do some sabotage because the option has been put out there, and when you put a sabotage mechanic out there for a chaos gremlin like myself, I just have to. Like it's my one bad need. All right.
Do it. We're too careful. We've been too careful in this. Go nuts. Kill kings.
What sabotage action would you like
T-shirt.
to go through?
It's not
Go
my
nuts.
alignment.
What alignment?
I just tier alignment. Sure.
He is going to sabotage their crafting network. So like their building of weaponry is what he's sabotaging. Mostly
Sorry.
for two great reasons. One, it would slow down the encouragement in a more subtle way, but also two, to keep anyone from reverse engineering what we have.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That is super smart.
That's
Alright.
smart.
So
I actually am okay with that.
I'm going to rule this. I'm going to rule this as a destroy resources action, and I'm going to say that you can, if you wish, dip into the successes you got during your investigation
Banked.
earlier
When you banked
as
them,
enhancement. If you
Perfect.
want to,
I would do that.
I don't think it's appropriate right now, but could you sabotage a workforce so that they make inferior product? So like theoretically they think they're making good arms and armor, but it's in fact like gonna crumble, dent, and bend a lot faster.
Yeah, that would fall under like a weakened defenses or destroy resources, either way.
But like subtly, so they don't know that they've screwed up.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea of this sabotage is that you're not doing it in plain view.
This game is so cool, Travis.
I had nothing to do with this part of it being cool, but thank you.
The whole thing. That's
all right. So in that case, let's kick it off. You got 3. No, I'm sorry. You have 2 breakthroughs you need to attempt. The first one is going to be your choice of science or technology plus cunning. In this case, you are literally sabotaging equipment. So um,
Let's go with that technology.
it's going to be difficulty 2.
I got none of those.
Well, this is specifically Savo's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get your own. You can assassinate the king.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Or you could,
I mean,
build.
he does like you, so you might have an in.
So that'd be 3.
Think of all the not killing the king would cost more lives.
Yeah. But I don't know if he's like.
Look at me being like a devil on Haley's shoulder, like, go on, kill the
Excellent.
king.
The next
What is one compared to many?
the next calm event to befall the community will be a scarcity event. I'll get to that in a moment.
Oh,
And then you may prevent the resource from being recovered, which would be a science or technology plus intellect roll. And that was 3 hits you got on the dice before, right?
Yes.
Without enhancements. So you
without
wouldn't,
enhancements.
you wouldn't need to have spent any enhancements you have banked.
Okay. And now I'm rolling technology in intellect.
Correct.
Okay. Just 2 successes on that.
Do you want to use any of that enhancement you got banked?
Let me go ahead and use 2.
Excellent. That brings us to 4 hits. That means that characters from this community start every story with the scarcity status. The resource affected can never be used as a trade good again. Settlements either disperse or start looking for new territory within 3 calms of completing this development. You have fucked their city up.
Whoops.
What resource?
I would
Stone.
assume you were aiming for their actual ability to create arms and armor.
Yep. Savo,
Rust has
it's just
everything.
gonna go quietly and just say, well, this wouldn't be the first time I've had to do something like this. I actually had to do that with Master one time. Wonder
I
what they're
mean,
up to.
this seems. I mean, let me play the devil's advocate here. Don't we need Fortress to protect us from the surface?
Thanks to protect us.
Sure, but if I can get
Yeah.
a
Sometimes
little
when you swing too hard and let the bat go.
well, and if I can get a little Machiavellian about it, you have destroyed their ability to create new arms and armor, at least new reliable arms and armor. That sounds like you've also created an amazing opportunity to provide the settlement with said arms and armor.
Not too.
You just better hope against hope nobody figures out you've done that. Going next around the circle, what would Bunga like to do for Bunga's calm event?
Punga take time for self. Punga, Punga read works of Maya Angelou.
Like a
Meditate and self-improvement.
So aren't any downtimes that just straight up give you like XP or something, like just personal training?
Yeah, is there a page I can check
Yes.
downtime events on? What
Your
page
calm
should I jump
events are 163 is where calm events begin. If you need a moment to look those over, I can swing over to Haley.
to? Okay.
Are you planning on doing any further sabotage? Are you looking to ingratiate yourself to Emperor Rook? Are you looking at trying to influence the city in that regard?
Um. Yeah, I'd like to influence, or what can I do to like improve my relations with him?
Well, I would say this we can treat it like we would a change leadership action, but instead of actually like swapping out the leader, you're just
Changing the nature of the leader.
you're just building a rapport with the leader that allows you to manipulate them.
Yeah,
You're
like
becoming like Wormtongue.
Exactly.
What's the virtuous version of worm tongue?
I want him to want me at his table, to like defer to me.
All right,
for
your,
things.
You want to become Wormtongue,
Yeah,
your first step
And
to
I-
a
this,
trusted advisor.
your,
a much better looking Wormtongue.
your first
Yeah.
step to this is to determine what the community wants. So this would require empathy plus composure.
Oh, I got this.
You know, you can't just be a pale person wearing black in Lord of the Rings. Like that automatically makes you evil.
Precisely.
All right. How do I roll here again?
Oh, I don't even know if the bot's on actually, so you might need to just use a regular
just
die
do it.
roller.
Oh yeah, I forgot that there was a bot thingy.
Yeah, I did not ask Corbin to turn it on. It's currently in testing, so it's literally on a person's computer that they have to turn on for it to use it.
Yeah.
True prototypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel confident in saying that the playtesting is going well.
Okay, I got 9, 8, 9, 10.
Awesome. So that's 5 successes. You definitely know what he wants on the table and the floor and all over the castle. You may then try to craft compelling arguments, which would be a persuasion plus cunning roll.
Okay. I got persuasion, I think. 4. I don't have cunning. Could I do like a different thing?
I mean, you should have at least 1 dot in cunning, right?
I got 1. Yeah.
Only 1 dot in cunning. Oh, she's more honest than
Yeah. This is a bit more manipulative than she normally is.
I got a 9.
All right. That is 1 hit. And now you can lobby for change. So, as you have a very good finger on the pulse of what Emperor Rook wants. You find it hard to disingenuously manipulate him, but you do have the opportunity to just straight up, kind of honestly let him know what you want. And that
because the role was to see what people.
The first role was to see what people want, was to identify what the actual motivations of the settlement are. Because there's, what you say and then there's what you really feel. And the second is to sort of make these sort of compelling, sort of manipulative argument points. But the third one is to actually lobby for the change. And that is your choice of persuasion plus presence or manipulation, your choice.
Oh, presence. For sure. Much better at that. 8. Got 8, 9, and 10.
4 successes, 4 hits, not bad. That is enough. Between your work and Savo's, you're able to provide a very solid distraction. So the settlement over the course of the calm doesn't really realize how much their weapons upkeep is failing, and they're basically willing to bend themselves to your requests, so long as they feel that you are remaining loyal to the throne. That your requests come from a place of the best interests of Fortress at heart. You've definitely won the respect and admiration of Emperor Rook. I certainly hope you do nothing to foul that relationship. That would be terrible for all parties concerned. Cal, did you figure out what you wanted to do for your...
Don't break his heart.
Or do.
Did you figure out what you wanted to do for your calm activity?
There's bolster defenses.
Excellent.
Do we have any notes on having done that before? Oh, is this the one I botched?
I believe
like
this is the
very
one you
first
botched the
calm?
first calm. Yes.
It's time to make up for that.
So you may choose between close or ranged combat plus your intellect.
Let's go close plus intellect. Oh, what's my intellect? Might be like Strapharia's cunning. Ooh, it is.
Just terrible at it.
With our powers combined, we are quite cunning. But my close combat's pretty good. I'm gonna use the Onyx dice.
Rapo.
They're gold on
Ooh.
black.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And let's so that's 6 total, eh? Because you always have at least one dot in a tribute. All
Taunting
right.
you.
Taunting.
You can try.
You can succeed. Don't worry about it.
I'm the one
Oh,
guy
boy.
that could do it.
Now, time to redeem myself. Let's take a look at these walls. Ah, yes. Oh, one success.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
That is a basic plan for the defenses. Let's roll.
You put a wall right here.
Now this is to obtain materials. You have a choice of technology plus might or persuasion plus manipulation.
Or technology plus might. That's right. I learned technology from Savo and Kalzul. I learned it from you, Dad. Technology plus might.
Give it a shot.
Technology 1 is like turns out you can use a pickaxe instead of your fists to punch through solid rock.
This is called a lever.
Here are the basic tools in this. This is a screw, also known as an inclined plane.
Applying basic
Come on,
physics and
guys.
trigonometry, we can tell.
We can make. Man, these are rough. 7s aren't a lot of 1s. 1 success.
All right, you do still
Come
have 2 momentum in the pool if you want to use any of them for enhancements.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Use 1 or 2.
I'm gonna use 1.
All right.
Gives me 2 total successes there.
Excellent. And then lastly, you have the technology plus intellect or leadership plus presence to actually enact your plan.
Leadership plus presence. And I'm gonna use the momentum if I can.
Sure.
All right, gang. I've got these rocks. We're gonna pile them right here. And 3 successes. And I just used the momentum. So 4 successes.
Excellent. That all told, you have successfully Bolster the defenses of Gelphim's Rest, raising the defense score to 10.
And score to 10.
Kilzul. Calm event? Calm development?
I'm looking at my aspirations for a little guidance here. One of them was get the souls of the ruined town safely back to our mausoleum, which we succeeded at, I think.
Yes.
Discover the nature of the bug parasite's soul consumption. Is there some kind of research project or something I could engage in that would enable me to do that?
There's a recruit specialists.
Yeah, that would probably be what you would.
You could look for and employ, or the obtain specialists thing could be on this very specific, because everything we've learned about it has been like, nobody knows what's going on here.
Right.
And if we had a specialists, it's kind of like having contacts in World of Darkness. Hey, I spent dots in you, so you guys can tell me what's going on.
Right. Yeah,
Please.
That would be an option, I would say. It would be.
Oh, what else?
Narratively, that would also work with our refugees who showed up. Maybe some of them are,
Sure.
alchemists
They wouldn't
or
otherwise
necromancers
know.
or whatever. Yeah.
And then you happen to ask around and be like, hey, some of these guys know what they're.
Sure.
Plus a different settlement, they might have entirely different techniques and what have you, which
Just develop technology.
yeah. And narratively, that also starts building bridges towards integrating them like calmly and happily into our community, which is something I'm concerned about, but I do not have the dice for that. That's a Stropharia roll.
That's fair. For
It
this
depends. They're very mixed.
Well, for locating specialists, you have a choice between locate or entice/abduct. To locate them, if that's what you want to focus on, it would be culture or survival plus cunning. If you wanted to lean on enticing or abducting specialists, this would be persuasion plus manipulation or athletics plus might.
All right. Well, we're going to go with enticement.
All right. So
We
persuasion,
like friends better than hostage.
Persuasion plus manipulation, please.
Ugh. It's a terrible roll. All right.
Your alternate would be culture or survival plus cunning.
All right. I like cunning a whole lot better. So let's see. Cunning, and you said that was culture or survival.
And that's locate specialist. So it would just be finding them in the new.
I can work with that. That's like a 4 dice difference.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Awesome. That is really all you need to do. In that case, you're adding a specialist in necrology?
Yeah. Soul alchemy, necrology, stuff like that.
All right. Excellent.
Are they rat or are they snake?
They are a snake. Are there any crafting attempts that any of you would like to make?
Can I put some work into building some kind of laboratory to assist with this research?
Yes. So effectively, you'd be making a tool.
Mm-hmm.
This would be Are you trying to make it mundane or enchanted?
What's the difference in difficulty?
Mundane items are
I mean, I think enchanted's the only way this is going to work anyway.
sure. So for an enchanted item, you would be looking at a base difficulty. of 3, you would have a moderate complication as well. So it's complication at 3. So difficulty 3, complication 3. If you do not buy off the complication, the project will take on a flaw.
Can I go intellect
Curse?
enigmas or can
So
I use
you're
intellect?
making the Necronomicon.
Yes. So you would be able to roll enigmas, intellect for the planning stage.
Excellent. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, yeah. Hot to trot. You have taken out the complication for the entire project and met the difficulty. So now you're just at difficulty 3 for the remainder of the 2 rolls. Your crafting roll, which would be your choice of artistry, science, or technology.
We'll go with artistry.
Excellent.
All right, so that's so many tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Beautiful. And lastly, you have testing, which would use enigmas, science, or survival.
Let's go with enigmas for sure. And can I spend that last momentum somewhere in here?
Yeah, for an enhancement of 1, absolutely.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. You have succeeded in crafting yourself a laboratory. This can have a total amount of enhancements or tags up to a value of 5. So, if you would like to give it, basically you're looking for equipment tags. This is going to be considered a tool, effectively.
If I invest a chaos stone in this, will it help?
In the sense that you would be able to add chaos-based tags to it. Yes.
Neat. All right. I defer to your good judgment. What enchantments or enhancements do you think might help with like examining soul and spirit based, and body interactions and stuff?
Sure. Let's see. Bear with me for a moment while I try to find those specific tags.
While you're doing that, one last activity that I will do for our calm is compose records and correspondence with Doran Cath, my contemporary contact in Skullcrag, about what's been going on, and see if we can get some of the specialists over there looking into this too.
Okay. That shouldn't require any rolls. So your options here would be Chaos Bound. It's a tool made of chaos or imbued by chaos in some way. This tool can be used to grant enhancement to the uses of sorceries. So that would be something you would probably want as a tag.
Right.
Exceptional, which adds additional enhancement. You can take it up to twice. All tools start with a +1 enhancement. So you could spend 2 of those for exceptional to take it up to a +3 enhancement. Chaos bound to allow it to work on sorceries. Rugged, which would make it difficult to break or destroy, which ignores the effects of complications or tricks that would break the item when using it. And you could also add either Kabaka machinery, which allows it to run on its own, or eye catching, which when you're using it, you would gain enhancement on influence actions.
I'll go with that Kabakal. How's that spelled?
I'm not even gonna read the spelling. I'm gonna paste it in the chat.
What's that? And what's that do?
That's the one that lets it run on its own. It's the same tag that you have on the forges.
Lets you make potions even while you sleep.
Oh, wow.
It's pronounced Quebecois.
Yes.
That's my dialect, and I still don't know how to pronounce it.
Hey, qu'est-ce que c'est? Tabernacle.
It's only Quebecois if it's from the Quebecois region of the
Of Canada, yeah.
of the world
Otherwise,
below,
it's just
otherwise-
sparkling Canadian.
Of the world
Yes.
below. Otherwise, it's just sparkling syrup.
It's only called a Molotov cocktail. It's from the Molotov region. Otherwise, it's just sparkling freedom.
That's right. Freedom fire.
Polish
Okay.
fight.
I prefer to call them Dracarys drinks personally.
Oh,
Respect.
flaming moes, if you will.
Yes.
All right, so I'll go with the Chaos Bound 1, Rugged, Quebecois, and Exceptional 2.
Dope. Any
That
other
is awesome.
Any other crafting actions for Calm?
I think I used all of mine.
All right. Going once, going twice, going nope. All right. Lastly, everybody's favorite part of Calm, the thing you have been waiting for so long, my friends, you can spend experience now.
Yeah.
But before you do,
Oh boy.
let me give you your experience for today's session.
Oh dang.
I bet you have a lot.
More than a little by a bunch.
My XP is kind of screwed up. I
How's-
definitely don't have as much as everybody else.
Well, that's okay.
Well, what's your XP screwed up? Why is it screwed up?
Nine?
Seems legit.
That's right. Mm.
You should. I think you have more than that.
That's all I got written down.
How much did we get this section?
I'm about to figure it out.
Oh right, there's a process to it.
He's calculating.
Did
or
we level up?
KO-boculating, or
Chewbacca-lating.
It's like
Chewbacca
coffee
lady,
that-
yes.
coffee that smells like wet dog.
Chewbacca-let?
Take that, Mr. Beast.
Chewbacca-let?
Yeah.
I would try it. I feel like Disney's missing out on, like, hey, I'm up for hire. Oh wait, they wouldn't hire me. They just like blatantly steal it.
Right. Oh, you all get one for showing up. Did you achieve any short-term aspirations? We'll start it off with Kilzul.
Got the souls out of the town safely to our mausoleum.
Hey, Raiders, welcome. Thanks so much for popping in. Appreciate you being here.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, it's the old ways. We love our friends over at the old ways.
Short term, discover the nature of the bug parasite soul consumption. Would establishing the lab be progress toward that goal enough for XP?
Sure.
There's one. Make the mausoleum a symbiotic necropolis and refuge. Is this count as progress toward that goal, or we'll wait on
Yes,
that?
you may
Okay.
take a point.
That's all 3 of them.
Dope. Haley, did Stropharia achieve any of your short-term aspirations?
No, I think I'm gonna reset them because they don't really fit the story plot.
That's fair. Calm is the time for doing so.
I've done that.
How about for Bunga? Did Bunga achieve any short-term aspirations?
Use words instead of violence. I feel like I did the opposite last session. I used violence instead of words. So probably not. As for just this session, no.
Okay.
And the other one, because there's a long-term one and a short, and 2 short-term ones, right?
Correct.
Find a way to improve or invest in Gelphim's rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Take 2 points for that.
That's been sitting on my short term for a while. One of these days I'll use words instead of violence.
Is the party aspiration for everybody? Like we all have to do it, or
No, it just means that the party aspiration has to be achieved. I believe that was your calm aspiration.
And then everyone gets it.
I mean, I had the party improve the reputation of Gelphim's rest.
Yeah, that's our calm
right.
aspiration.
So you all
it's the party one, but that's the.
So you all will gain 3 experience for that.
Nice.
Sweet. So 3. You gave us 1.
Yep. Everybody got 1 for showing up. You get 1 for each short term that you've completed, and 2 if you've completed a long term. So did you complete any aspirations for Savo, Crow?
Let me see. No.
All right.
No, not yet.
I would say you all get 1 experience for spending half the momentum pool in a single scene. And you did reach a story milestone, so you may all take 1 more point.
That's 2 more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now you may spend
You
experience.
only get 1 long-term goal, like per comm.
Yes.
Yeah, because mine was had a little check mark. I put a check mark next to it, and it said ride a giant thing, or ride a monster. And I was like, oh wait, that was like, yeah, technically I climbed on top of the dragon.
Indeed.
But there was a check mark between it. So does that mean after this and spending XP, we can rewrite our short term and long term?
Any of your aspirations can be rewritten at this point. You also get to each choose to advance a path.
Right.
And for those of you who have the book, it's on page 109. If you don't have the book handy, if you choose to advance your dawn, you will gain 1 additional momentum generator, up to a total of 5, and it can be tied to any aspect of your dawn. You would gain a new 1-dot bond within the party, or add a dot to an existing bond. You may spread 3 dots among your character's 3 existing dawn skills. You may take 2 dots of theses for which your character meets the prereqs. If your dawn is your major path, you can take 3 dots instead of 2. And you may assign 1 dot or tag to a contact related to your dawn. If instead you choose to advance your dialectic, you may spend 3 dots among your character's 3 dialectic skills. You may take 2 dots of syntheses for which your character meets the prerequisites, unless dialectic is your major path, in which case you take 3 dots instead of 2. And you may assign 1 dot to a contact related to your dialectic. Lastly, if you advance your calling, you may spend 3 dots among your character's 3 existing calling skills. You may take 2 dots of sorceries for which your character meets the prerequisites from your calling's designated wisdom. If your calling is your character's major path, you may take 3 dots instead of 2. And you may assign 1 dot or tag to a contact related to your character's current calling. M is going to advance her calling because she wants more chaos stuff.
So it's 3 dots for calling sorcery?
If your
Are you choosing calling?
if your calling is your major path.
Oh, no. It's mine.
So 3 dots of skills for the calling, 3 dots of what again?
If it's your major path,
Yeah.
it depends on which path. Which path are you talking about?
Calling alchemist. That was my...
So yeah, that would be 3 dots in sorceries.
Cool.
What chapter was that under again?
Here, maybe
Was the sorceries
Allow-
under, or was the path advancement?
maybe that'll help everyone. I'm putting something in the chat for y'all.
Many things.
That helps
Ooh.
1,000%. So you choose one of those 3 advancements,
That is super duper helpful. Thank you.
right? Yeah. Because before I was like, oh, wait, which one? It's one of those things where if you see it and it's in point form, but the book is very well laid
Sure.
out, everyone, and you see it, you're like, oh, okay,
Oh, wiry. Oh, easy. Yeah, exactly.
easy. I think I'm gonna choose calling, and I know what those skills are because I wrote me like when we're randomly haven't played in a while. I'm like, why is there a C, an S, and an H like next to like all of these things? And I'm like, oh, I see, calling. And this one's larceny and close combat and survival falls under calling.
Precisely.
But what would S be? Why did I write S?
S is settlement.
Beautiful.
So it should be part of
Settlement.
Your, so that's
points.
part. That's actually part
That's
of your
why I
dawn.
wrote, and that's part of the dawn. Sorry.
I just said right there. It's fine.
But why did I write?
So
H.
2 sorceries if it's not your primary.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to
I've
advance
got a
my
little image
alchemist.
that really helps in the chat
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that is. I'm just double checking. While I still have people to ask.
Certainly.
Super cool stuff.
What is larceny? Have any of us ever done anything larcenous?
You know, I've got 4.
We're kind of like the direct.
Yeah, I figure at some point a lock must be picked or an item must be vanished, but I actually have 4 dots in it.
I do believe that Savo uses larceny on a fairly regular basis.
Fair. Get in and out of places, yeah. Okay.
And I think
All right. I'm going to advance my dialectic.
Oh, my
And
calling is my. Oh, I even wrote what my major paths were because I wrote hunter and then put a dash and put primary. So that's probably what it means if it's your major path.
mm-hmm.
a +1 to an existing contact with that field.
Or a new 1 dot contact.
Sure. And that's separate from bonds within the group?
Correct. Contacts are different.
Right. Are there any bond advances or is that a separate thing?
If you increase your dawn. I believe your bond increases.
What page is it just to like spend XP?
1 second. I will look that up. I just want to type this in before I forget, because Emma's picking up the binding chains sorcery. All right. So you're looking for the spending XP chart?
Yeah.
We get a snapshot of that one.
It's on page 108. Let's see if I can paste this in the Zoom chat and it actually work. So yeah, any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about tonight's session?
No.
No, good times.
Sweet. I want to once again thank all of our raiders who came in and joined us. Much appreciate you all popping in here. Sorry it was the end of the game as we were doing our end of session, but also end of calm stuff. If you're not familiar, we're playing The World Below. One of the conceits that I find very cool about The World Below is you have your sort of adventuring phase, which is most of the time when you're out, facing enemies, doing intrigue, having your action, having your investigations, all those things. And then you have the calm season where everything sort of blows through. You hunker down into your settlements and you start doing your sort of, it's almost like a base building phase, one might say. And that's kind of what we were up to when you all walked in. At the end of your calm phase is the only time you get to spend experience points. So the crew is getting all excited about that. I won't make them or you stick around while we figure out what we're going to do with our XP, though, especially because I just looked and we're 5 minutes over our time, and I hate keeping my players late. So we will go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to just do a quick reminder that right now Exalted Essence is up on BackKit. We are in the final week. The Exalted Essence Player's Guide, I should say. This is a book that is, I think, going to be vital for anyone who's playing Exalted Essence. It's got detailed information on all 10 Exalt types, including guidelines for how to play them, expanded and alternate Exalt milestones for increasing your character's advancement, and just a ton of new charms for each Exalt type. So definitely go check that out. All of these lovely people who are with me are lovely and amazing. And if you go back and watch the VOD, you'll be able to see their intros and whatnot at the beginning. But I'm not going to make everybody do that tap dance before we bounce because, again, I've kept folks late. I would like to thank you all once again for being here. Remind you that the world is a dark place right now. So try to be the light in somebody's life and to take care of yourselves and one another. Hang out. We're going to throw a raid over to our buddy Druid by Night. I will be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, for Exalted Essence, the Wild Hunters. They are in the middle of the Realm Civil War, and they're about to head to the Imperial City after having just rescued Niemann from her summer home. So this might be the last session. Who knows? They might all get killed. We'll see how it goes. Till then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.